The average Christian's progress today is not sufficient to satisfy the longings of true seekers after God. They want something better than that. The average Christian today does not make much spiritual progress at all. He may be converted, join the church, but 5 years later he is right back where he started. 10 years later he is still where he was, or even stepped back a little further. That's not enough to those who seek and thirst and hunger after God. David said, "As the hart panteth after the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God," in Psalm 42, verses 1 to 2. That is the testimony of a true seeker after God. He's not going to let somebody's slow snail progress keep him back. Such seekers after God are impatient with the substitutes being offered today. When you do not have anything real inside of you, you try to get something on the outside that suggests something real. It's a well-known fact that when the fire goes out in the furnace, they paint the outside to make it look as if the fire was still there. Unfortunately, the church is the same. And this even includes evangelical and so-called full gospel churches. Something from its heart has been lost. And so bangles and dangles are used on the outside in order to pretend there is something real still there. But you cannot fool true seekers after God with this kind of thing. They know better. What have we come to? That the people of God are not shocked enough by Calvary, a man dying on a cross on a hill outside Jerusalem. And not just a man, but the God-man, dying for the sins of the world. Why does this leave us dull and unmoved? The recent outburst of modern theatrics has now taken over Protestantism. What started in the beginning as a small seed has grown, and the dragon seed has grown more dragons. The seekers of God do not like what's happening, and the hungry-hearted saints of God do not want it, so they read with great eagerness the lives of holy men in the devotional books from centuries past. But where is the doing? I wonder if you've ever read sermons on the Song of Songs, or On Loving God by Bernard of Clairvaux. Have you ever read Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross, or The Scale of Perfection by Walter Hilton, or The Amending of Life by Richard Rolle, or The Life of the Servant, a little book of eternal wisdom by Henry Suso, or the great sermons by John Tauler and Meister Eckhart? What about The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis? On Introduction to the Devout Life by Francis de Sales, or The Cloud of Unknowing, or The Letters of Samuel Rutherford, or the works of William Law, or the Letters of Francois Fenelon, or the Journal of John Fox? What about the writings of Nicholas von Zinzendorf and Andrew Murray and John Wesley and A.B. Simpson? These men rose like prophets of Israel and did not change their doctrine. They just professed it against the hollow externalisms of the world. They sought to recapture again the glory that was in Jesus Christ the Lord, of worship and prayer and the desire to be holy. The men I have named formed a sacred fellowship through the years, but I do not find them by any means in the mainstream of evangelicalism today. There are men in evangelicalism today who are just ordinary men with no longing after God. They grind out their sermons week after week, take little trips here and there, fish and play golf and fool around and then come back and preach. They go on and spend their lives that way, but you cannot speak with them for long because there is nothing of substance to talk about after you have done a little chit-chat of business. Not all preachers are that way. There are some whom you can speak with for hours on end and talk about God and Christ, and these people are practical and clean and cool-headed and have no sympathy with false doctrines, and they keep away from extremes of excitement and fanaticism. They just want to know God and want to be holy. They want to seek the face of Jesus until they are aglow with his light. I have described these men and women because what I really want to know is whether I describe you. It is not a matter of how deep you have come, but do you have your diving suit on? It is not how far the arrow has sped, but has the arrow left the bow? It's not that you're perfect, but that you thirst after perfection. Or is your religion social? Are you satisfied with the once on Sunday sort of religion? God has given you the wind, the rain, a body to contain your wonderful soul. He has given you an amazing mind and many fine abilities. He sustains you, holds you up, keeps your heart beating, and waits to receive you yonder. But do you toss him a crumb, so God gets what is left behind? Does God get only the tattered bits of your time? Yet you say you are a follower of the Lamb? Do not fool yourself. You are not if you don't go deeper into the crucified life. Are you weary of externalism, and do you long after God? I long after God. This is not age-old talking, and this is not the result of anything I have been reading except the Bible. This has been growing in me through the years, and the only gratifying thing I have apart from my communion with God is the knowledge that I am not alone in my journey. God has his people everywhere who are in revolt against pretense, textualism, externalism, and tradition. They want to seek God for himself as he is in the scriptures, as revealed by the Holy Spirit. God has his people, but there aren't many of them. Are you one?